All right, guys, welcome to day 2 of the TED course, Third Eye Developments. Today, we are going to be going over what really is a chart. So let's get over here and go all the way back to the beginning here. What really is a chart? 2024 TED course by Velas. From the Millionaire's Metaforum. A chart of emotions. One way to conceptualize a price chart would be as a graphical depiction of human behavior, like herd instinct, as well as emotions like fear, greed, optimism, and pessimism. Price charts show how buyers and sellers respond to expectations for the future and predictions from the past. The market is an auction. In an auction market, the price is decided by the lowest amount the seller is willing to accept, which is considered offers, and the highest amount the buyer is willing to pay, which is considered bids. So at $400,000, we're at a fair value until buyers start bidding higher. Demand exceeded supply, creating an imbalance in price. After more interest becomes certain, driving price higher until we meet fair value again. In this case, we met fair value until we ran out of buyers. At that point, supply exceeded demand, causing a drop in price. So here we have a house at around $400,000. Right here, we have fair value in this green box, and then we create an imbalance, what is known as an imbalance. You'll hear it thrown around a lot. Now, this is where demand exceeds supply, right? There's more demand than supply, which automatically drives price up, right? And then eventually at $450,000, we meet fair value again, which a lot of times on the chart you'll see marked in a red box, right? And that'll be known as supply. And in this case, we met fair value and we dropped down in price to $420,000. Right there, we had met fair value again. And in this case, supply exceeds demand, right? There's more supply. There's not a lot of buyers that are willing to pay the price of $450,000 up here. So therefore, price drives lower, advertising price to a new set of buyers down here, right? And if we can't find any here, guess where we go? We go to another point on the chart where buyers are interested in buying there, right? And in that case, we meet fair value, and then guess what? Demand exceeds supply at that point, right? So let's go on here. Price is the auction to newcomers. Ever wonder why auctioneers talk so fast? It keeps up interest. That interest to win against all allows others to fall into their emotions, bidding higher. As price keeps driving up very fast, more people hop on board with their interest. Eventually, price drives until interest fades. When interest lacks, price drops to advertise to a new set of buyers who will buy at certain prices. Characteristics of investors. The character of investors in the stock market: high adjustment, which are investors that are self-assured and inclined to put up with failure; high ambition, which are people that have the drive to outperform others, and in that case, you got a lot of emotions involved; tough and direct with low interpersonal sensitivity. And these two down here are ones that I highly they're perfect. High prudence, inclined to create well thought out plans; and high inquisitive, observant and eager to learn new things, right? So let's move on here. The battlefield. Now this is a very clean interpretation of how I want all of you to interpret the chart. The market is your battlefield. While other troops run out and get shot, you will stand back and wait patiently. Eye everything up, calculate. Stay patient. The market has its ways to trick you into a foolish position that you had no clue was foolish. Sometimes you may look at a stock chart and see in clear vision that we have a point of interest, while really that is a point of bait made for the 99% of average executors who make moves solely based off other investors' footprints. Be a sniper, wait and examine, having patience while observing, allowing others to fall for stupidity you wouldn't have came even close to. Back in World War II and early 1943, Allied forces were massing all along the coast of North Africa. They have settled on a spot in which they had to make the Germans think they were aiming somewhere else. Their plan was to grab a dead body and equip it with false papers, dropping it somewhere the Germans would not find it. Would find it. It was known as one of the most successful deception operations. The bait allowed them to not be targeted, persuading the Germans to look elsewhere. This example represents the market's traps. When you are on a battlefield, you are not meant to win. There will be tons of traps. And now this is a great way of interpreting the market, because when the market is not made for you to win, what is there going to be? The market has to advertise price to you at a certain point so that it gets you to buy, right? If it doesn't, you're not going to buy, right? So therefore, it's got to create a trap. It's got to create an easy vision for you to, see in the market, for you to execute and take a play. And therefore, guess what? You'll hear this saying a lot, the rug being pulled out from underneath of you. And that happens a lot, right? That happens more times than not to your average investor, right? Now let's go on here to the next slide. What is volume? Volume measures the number of shares traded in a stock or contracts traded in futures or options. Volume can indicate market strength, as rising markets are on increasing volume are typically viewed as strong and healthy. When prices fall on increasing volume, the trend is gathering strength to the downside. Now let's go off here. Let's click off of this. All right, so here we have a live chart here. This is from Friday. This is the last trading day. So here I had marked out what the auction looks like on an actual chart here. Here we have E-mini S&P 500 index future. So I'd marked this up. A lot of these drawings on here from my actual plays, which you could see PT, which is price target, buy side liquidity, sell side liquidity, which is down here when we originally had opened. But check this out. What do we have here? Here we have fair value, right? We have buyers agreeing with sellers and sellers agreeing with buyers, right? And then what do we have? We have a big imbalance in price, right? Which a lot of times you'll hear this being demand, right? And you'll have this marked up as a green box, right? And then a lot of people will say, and this is a way you can interpret it as well, when price comes down back into that fair value or that demand zone, guess what?